My name is Tanya Hubbard. I'm a Quaker from the north of Wales, currently living in the south of France. And I've been involved in peace building and dialogue work for the last 17 years.
Cool. And we're here to talk about tools for refinding connection at a time of polarisation. And what was the thinking behind this course? What was your inspiration that prompted you to come up with it?
Yeah, so I've been working in Myanmar with groups, different ethnic groups who were very strongly in conflict with each other for about 5 years when the conversation around Brexit started to heat up in the UK. And I was just really intrigued to see the parallel between the ways that people in both countries and in both situations were had a sense of separateness from the other. It was like, those people over there, they're different. Those people over there, they're wrong in some way, they're bad in some way, or they're dangerous, they're a threat in some way, whether actual or kind of existential in terms of a system. And I was really struck by the quantity of times that I heard from my British family and friends, the level of despair. You know, we're polarized, we're separated. There are those people who are voting for it, and those people, and we're not. And how distressing that was. It was like a level of despair that I heard and have continued to hear in the years that have followed, around Brexit, but also around climate, attitudes to the climate situation, attitudes to migration, and then COVID, and then vaccines, and all of that jazz. And this sense of despair and lostness also for some people. Some of my family and friends no longer speak to some people who were dear friends because they have a different perspective, because they've taken a different stance on some of these lines that we seem to be drawing kind of more and more strongly lines. Yeah. Like, you're over there and I'm over here. And my work is about stepping over lines. And it's about stepping over stories of otherness, of differentness. And so that's why I wanted to propose this course as an offering to explore and to practice ways to do that, to re-find a sense of connection and a sense of sameness and togetherness with people. Maybe the ones that are precious, like the family and friends that were really distressed that we lost in this process, or maybe the ones that we don't know, but it's quite heavy to have this sense that there's a whole bunch of people in this country or in this world that have these crazy ideas that I do not agree with, and that are wrong and bad, and kind of like a stuckness and a sense of not knowing what to do about it is what I often hear. So that's why I wanted to propose this space to explore some of that and to find and practice tools for overcoming it.
So you kind of started to talk about that a little bit, but kind of what would people get out of this course? Why would, if I'm hearing that and going, yeah, I agree, that sounds like that is, one of the pressing points of our time. What do you get from this course that helps you?
So one of the kind of core parts of any conflict transformation is one, self-awareness. So one part of this course would be about becoming more self-aware in terms of noticing my own triggers. What are the topics, what are the phrases, or what are the kind of ways of being that particularly trigger me to strong emotional reactions, and also potentially to judgments that I'm making about another person. And when we're aware of triggers, and when we're aware of those kinds of red lines that we draw, and we're aware of our response to them, then potentially we have more information for how to respond to that in that situation in a way that actually enables us to keep nourishing a relationship. So one is this higher self-awareness, and the other part is the actual tools. They're tools that I draw from nonviolent communication. So they're about listening in a different way, like listening in a way that hears behind whatever is being said. And something that might be said that is ugly for me, something that might be said that I find really disturbing, or that I find that I think immediately is wrong or bad. And so trying to hear behind the judgment, to hear what the person is expressing in terms of whether that's a feeling, or whether that's a need that's not being met, or whether it's a value that is really strong for them. And that being a way for the person, for me, to connect with that other person. So listening behind, and also practicing questioning in a different way. So instead of, usually when we're in a disagreement, especially around ideas, then if someone says something that I don't agree with, I'm probably going to respond with my rebuff is probably going to be about ideas. It's like, no, you're wrong because X, Y, Z. And instead of going straight there to a place that ends up being a bit like just a fighting match, like I bash you, you bash me, we don't go anywhere, and probably at the end of the conversation our relationship is damaged or over. So instead of that, of coming from a place first of questioning, of using questions in a particular way so that we understand that person better, and also so that maybe that person feels heard, feels that whatever is happening for them is being acknowledged and understood. And then also practicing tools for expressing disagreement, because sometimes that we do just fundamentally disagree, and that can be a truth that's very important for me and for us. And so I'm not suggesting that we practice just listening and not speaking and not challenging when there's wrong, or when there's something that we feel doesn't speak to our truth. But practicing expressing that in a way that enables the other person to hear me, and at the same time not to feel judged, not to feel rejected or criticized, and so the relationship can stay intact and can actually maybe even get stronger.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's all stuff that you say, and I go, oh yeah, I remember that, and I'm trying to think when the last time I practiced that well was, versus
exactly.
Yeah, you get dragged in, don't you? In a practical sense, if I've signed up for this course, how is it kind of going to be experienced for me in terms of the format?
Yeah. So it's going to be mostly focused around the live sessions. The majority of the work is not in individual kind of resources on Moodle. It's the majority of the process and the work is going to happen actually in the live sessions, which will happen every Monday night from 6:30 to 8 UK time, from the 17th of January onwards for 6 sessions. So starting on the 17th of January and finishing on the 21st of February. And how will you experience it? Well, I think what you just said is really nice in terms of that we can understand stuff kind of upstairs in our heads, and then actually practicing it is really hard, and integrating it into our lives is really hard. So the format of this course will be experiential, and it will be embodied. And what I mean by that is that I'm not proposing to share loads of ideas, loads of concepts and theories, and have loads of PowerPoint or reading. My methodology and the way that I have seen this process work effectively for other people is through exploring. So that's going to be in pair work, in small group storytelling. It's going to be in physical exercises where we kind of come into the body and notice what's happening in different scenarios. And it's going to be in lots of other creative activities like drawing, writing, reflecting. So my intention is that it's going to be a very participatory process where the participants and me will together go on a learning journey, and they're going to learn a great deal from each other. A great deal from listening to other people's challenges and other people's thoughts. And we're going to practice. Instead of just kind of having these tools and being like, there you go, off you go and do it. We're going to practice. We're going to practice trying to have these conversations, trying to express in ways that then hopefully mean that when in real life one of these scenarios, one of these situations comes up, that it doesn't feel so strange to try and respond to it in a different way, because our bodies, our minds have already started to integrate more deeply this way of communicating and this way of thinking and being.
Wow, sounds cool. Really, I mean, as often with these conversations, you've sold me. But if
Come.
I might do. If someone was on the fence and they were like, "Oh, it sounds good," what would be your thing that you would say to them to kind of say, you know, you should come over that fence, come and join us?
Yeah. Yeah. I would say, one, it's going to be a really nice way of building relationship with other people on the course. Because it's participatory, it's going to be about listening and sharing with each other. So you will probably, by the end of this course, be part of a community of people who have gone through this learning journey and are going to then put it into place. So it's going to be a way of building community. And the other thing is that I observe, and in myself as well, that we waste loads of energy with feeling angry about this stuff, with feeling stuck, with being resentful at people that we love that aren't behaving in the way that we want them to in relation to one of these ideas. And that if you come on this course and you do this exploration and this practice, you will find more ease, more peace in relationships. Some of that energy that has been kind of like stuck and wasted, feeling angry, it just goes when we start to rehumanize other people and we start to reconnect with the fact that they're also just seeking to meet needs and working from values that usually we share, even though it comes out in a different way. So we have more peace in our daily lives when we read the newspaper, when we connect with someone who has a view that we don't share. So yeah, so come if you want some more peace and ease and connection in your relationships.
A tempting prospect. And can you remind us of the dates again?
Yeah, so it's every Monday evening, starting from the 17th of January next year. And it's from 6:30 to 8 p.m. UK time. 6 sessions from the 17th of January to the 21st of February 2022.
Great. And it's £60, although half price if you're under 35, and for those that might be struggling with that, they can contact learning at woodbrook.org.uk, or if you are watching this and you happen to be a member of a Quaker meeting, it might be worth contacting your treasurer to help you pay for the course as well, just in case you didn't know all of that information as well. There you go. Thank you very much for joining me, and I look forward to this course. High hopes for it solving all of the polarisation.
Thanks, John.
Thanks.